Welcome very much to One Soccer. Adam Jenkins, Jess Lacey, and Jordan Wilson here with you. Our women's national team finally back in action after their Paris Olympics quest fell short in the quarterfinals. It was a tournament that was marred with controversy and a whole lot of stress on the players who just did not have enough to get through Germany. Germany, the team that ended up beating Spain in the bronze medal match. But we are so excited to have Canada back on One Soccer. We'll get you teed up for the match here this evening, and we will address a litany of things from the players we'll see today, the update from Canada Soccer about the external investigation into the drone scandal. I promise you that will be a very quick conversation, and also a look ahead to the World Champions. Jordan Wilson, let's begin with you here. We finally see Canada back in action. The World Champions are who they are playing. How excited are you to have them back on One Soccer?
Yeah, I think it's great to just see them play. I think also the opponent as well, Spain, just winning the World Cup for 2024. A great team, great players, but then also Canada just being the away side as well. I think that's something, if you really want to compete at the highest level, Jess, you want to play teams in their atmosphere where you have to really go and respond. I think today for Canada, this is the perfect test.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say the same thing. As an athlete, you want to perfect your craft against the best of the best, and that's what Spain is. They are world champions for a reason. So I'm definitely excited to see Canada take them on, and this is a measuring stick for them. It's these opponents that you're able to see what you need to improve on, what you're great at, and what you should keep doing. So definitely excited for today.
And also just try new things as well.
Yeah.
I think this match as well, when you're in a tournament, you have to be a little bit more focused. You obviously want to make it to the next round, but a match like today, of course, it matters for maybe confidence. But try new things. If you're a player, a winger that likes to cut in, or you want to try certain things, going against Spain is probably the perfect time to do that.
And why it's so interesting, too, is there's an interim coaching group here right now. And I think we all know why there's an interim coaching group, but we'll revisit the timeline just to sort of paint a little bit more context around the situation surrounding the Canadian coaches. It was July the 22nd that the initial drone spying allegations came to light. Just 2 days later, Bev Priestman had voluntarily declared she would step down and miss the Olympic opener. Another 3 days after that, FIFA issued a one-year ban to Bev Priestman and a couple of other staffers involved in the scandal. It was the end of July where the Canadian Soccer Association said they would have an independent external review into the allegations, all the way through to this week, where Parliament declined to investigate and call the likes of Bev Priestman and John Herdman to the committee. It was NDP MP Nikki Ashton who suggested in the first place it might be a good idea to have them in. The House of Commons said, no, thank you, we're not interested. And this, the latest from Canada Soccer. They said, we appreciate there is interest in how the investigation is progressing, and we look to forward its conclusions and recommendations. Given that this is an independent and external investigation, we are not in control of its timelines. So what does that mean for this particular window? Well, we know that there is going to be a few new faces on the Canadian touchline in the camp and the support staff, Diana Matheson being one of them as well. And what makes this really interesting, Jordan, is there's not necessarily anything on the immediate horizon that this team is preparing for. Spain have the European Championships coming up in 2025. There's no Gold Cup, there's no W Championship, there's no Olympics, there's no World Cup qualifying, none of that. So it's an interesting point in which they want some continuity to get the players back together in camp and to keep progressing, keeping that chemistry alive, but also they're kind of waiting for an answer, just like everyone at home watching is as well.
I just wonder too, how much can you progress when you don't have a clear vision of how things will look moving forward? I think that's where we're at. I think it's a blessing to let Canada go and play Spain in Spain. But until you know, and just as a player, until you know who you're playing for, what type of system you're gonna play, yes, with these players that they're comfortable and there's some new players breaking into the team, but a lot of them are asking questions and players or coaches that are saying to them, you don't know if that person's going to be there, right? So how much work and how much do you really put into to make that progress? I think for me, that's the question where we're at. It's been a few months already. I don't want it to be a few months longer. They just need a clear answer to really move things forward.
I will say on a positive note, I think adversity has that ability to, really tear you apart and bring you together. And I think this squad did really well in the Olympics with being resilient and sticking together. It definitely is hard as a player. I think, we saw it affect them a little bit in the Olympics, because who wouldn't it affect?
Of course.
But I think now these women have had the chance to, collect their thoughts, go back to their environments in club, and just come out and focus on what's ahead. And again, we don't know what's ahead, so there is that question in the back of your head. But I just think that this is a group of professionals, and I don't think this will affect them all that much.
Yeah, and we also know that Kevin Blue, since coming in, has made sure that the lines of communication with both the national teams have been open. He met with them in camp and gave them an update on as much as he possibly could. And as Amy Walsh, Claire Rustad, and Dinah Matheson said on the Footy Prime podcast, look, you get to camp and you just flick that switch and you get into camp mode. It's ultimately about playing, which is what they're excited to do today against the world number 3 Spain. And this is how Canada will line up today. The starting 11 presented by GE under the interim coach Katie Collar, who comes from the Whitecaps FC Girls Elite Group. A 3-4-3 formation. Right away jumping off the page is that attacking trio. Olivia Smith, Evelyn Vienne, and Jordan Heitema. A midfield 4, Ashley Lawrence on the left wing, Janine Becky on the right, Simia Wujo and Jessie Fleming is the midfield pairing, and a back 3 of Jade Rose, Kadisha Buchanan, and Vanessa Gilles with Kaylin Sheridan in goal. Jordan Wilson, let's go to you. This is... well, it's no longer just the dawn of a new era, because it's been the post-Christine Sinclair era for some time. Desiree Scotto recently announcing that she's hanging up the boots as well. And we know Jessie Fleming wears the captain's armband, but from those Paris Olympics, were there any other players that sort of stood up and said, no, I'm going to be one of the leaders on this team too?
Yeah, there was one, and it was organic. Like, it was just one of those situations where a wounded deer leaps the highest. Like, it literally happened with Vanessa Gilles. We talk about this team and the fact that Jessie Fleming wears the captain's armband, but maybe isn't that vocal leader that everyone looks to. And not necessarily nowadays that you need to be, right? There's more leadership teams in the game of football today. But you saw someone on the pitch and off the pitch step up and give everything that she had and more. Specifically, if you want to see how much it meant to her, go back and watch that goal against France. Like, there's no business for a center back to be doing what she was doing, but she willed herself to get in those positions. Jet, when I look at this team, of course you have players, the Lawrences, Flemings, they are talents. But for me now, the focal point and the leader that you look to on and off the pitch is Vanessa Gilles.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Vanessa Gilles is the kind of captain. She's not a captain, but in my eyes right now, she is very much a leader. So let's just say captain. She's somebody that really wears her heart on her sleeve, and you see that in the way she speaks about the team in post-game interviews, the way she steps up there, she puts her body on the line every single time. She looks like the kind of person that's going to give you the tough love you need, and you really appreciate it at the end of the day. So definitely a big fan of hers.
I am 100% certain that after the Paris Olympics, she slept for like a week straight. Just like took a nap and said, do not bug me, do not text me, do not reach me. I need to recharge. She literally put her heart on her sleeve. We'll stay with defenders, and we want to talk about, again, someone who's not new to the scene, but I think maybe the most interesting Canadian women's national team player for 2025, that's Jade Rose. She's in her senior year in the NCAA at Harvard, and I imagine there are many clubs who are in contact with her that would love her signature. We saw her continued rise at the Olympics, and let's go with you, Jess, first on this one. A young player who is sort of not your conventional center back. She's skilled in multiple areas. She has no fear whatsoever, and the fact that she is still just at a young age and technically a collegiate player, you know that life very well. It's pretty remarkable how far she's already climbed.
Yeah, I think she's a rising star. Honestly, you watch someone like Jade Rose at her young age, it's very hard to teach the poise that she has. I don't really think you can teach it.
Yeah.
And that's
Jordan's
one thing.
still learning it.
Very much so.
That's true, on and off the field, right?
Both you guys.
But, I think that she not only has the athleticism, she is very intelligent when she has the ball at her feet. She's very calm. She is able to hit those long balls, those switch balls that you're looking for from someone in her position. And, again, just touching on her athleticism, it's next level. So I think that this is a very special player, and the future's very bright for her.
Jess, you said rising star. I'm going to say she's already a star. She hasn't tapped into maybe where she's going to play professionally, but I think she'll have her pick. Yeah. I think she can go wherever she wants to go. Specifically, the one thing I'll add, I agree with everything you said, but it's just her 1v1 ability. Going forward and also defending. Like, in the modern game, if you can gamble and bank on someone getting around someone attacking from an attacking perspective 8 times out of 10, that's Jade Rose. And then on the contrary, when someone is running at you and you're like, she's got it, and you feel confident about that, that is dynamite in this game. So whether it's a right back, center back, like she just touched on it, she's so athletic, but the poise and confidence that she moves with, it will take her all the way.
Okay, further up the pitch, we'll go next to the midfields. We got the answer today, Jordan, of who's going to partner with Jessie Fleming, but that constant debate, is it Simi Awujo, is it Julia Grosso? We understand they're very different types of players, and for this particular friendly, they've gone with Simi Awujo. I mean, it's tough to have a blanket statement like, yes, that's the right choice, those are your two central midfielders, but I think we saw a lot of trust given to her in Paris, and I think as we sort of have this runway out of the Olympics into the next cycle, she seems to be really carving that niche for herself.
Yeah, I think if you play this style, and this style, what I mean by that is 3 in the back, I think it will always favor Awujo. I understand that there are people out there that might say Grosso's a talent, but if you're playing 2 in the midfield, you need someone that can cover a lot of ground. I'm not saying Grosso doesn't do that. I'm just saying that Awujo does that slightly better. I think if you were to play a 3 in the midfield and maybe play 4 in the back, then you could have maybe someone sitting like Awujo and Grosso and Fleming. But if you continue to find chemistry and a running mate for Fleming, Awujo for me is going to be the resounding answer.
Yeah, and you and I have gone back and forth about this, right? You were Team Quinn, I was Team Grosso. Simi Awujo wasn't really in the conversation back then, and she's grown so much since then. But you know what? I think, honestly, it very much depends on the opponent, and I think that in today's matchup, Awujo is the right decision. I think with a team like Spain, you need someone that's going to be able to hold and provide that balance. You can't be getting caught at a position. They are going to play quick balls, a lot of combination play, so you do need that midfielder to really hold. I also just want to mention Emma Regan is a part of this squad. And she's somebody that I think will be filling in there as more of a holding mid role. She's a very solid player. She does very well to hold, more so like a Quinn, very similar to Quinn. She's able to switch the point of attack. She's very poised on the ball as well. So I'm excited to see if she gets some minutes in.
That's what we said about this window, right? This is an opportune time for players like Regan to step up and show, because you saw with Bev Priestman in the past, but also just with this team, is that it's about timing when to gamble on players, when to play them. A game against Spain, in Spain, I mean, for me, there's no better time to go and see someone for the last 20 or 30 minutes of a match and really see what they're made of.
Well, and Katie Collar told us yesterday on our broadcast call, too, they expect the team to be using the subs very proactively and give some players a run. We're going to keep moving up the pitch. We gave the midfielders to Jordan for understandable reasons. Same reason we're going to give you the attackers,
My turn.
Jess Lisi. I think we probably, amongst everyone in the studio, and I would add in the control room to that conversation as well, debated Olivia Smith when she was excluded from Bev Priestman's initial Olympic roster, and what a shock that was to a lot of supporters. She obviously did not let that dismay her. She goes to Liverpool. She's scoring goals at Anfield now, Jess, and she's going to get a start today. This is an interesting front three with Heidema and Vian with Smith there, and I think anyone you talk to about her says she's just a young player on the rise, and another one like Jade Rose playing well above her years. Yeah,
and I agree. I'm excited for this front three today. I think Olivia Smith is a player that she brings something that, honestly, I'm going to say this is a very bold statement, but I think she has qualities that the other strikers on Canada don't have. And I think her ability to release that ball quick, that was a perfect example, quick strike. She's able to find the back of the net. She hits the ball with not only power, but she constantly hits the net. And she always, one thing I love about her, she always wants the ball. You will always hear Olivia Smith in that final third asking for the ball. She puts herself in spots to get it. And if she's not shooting the ball, she's absolutely creating some sort of combination to lead to a final third opportunity. So I think she is also a rising star. I know I use that word, but rising star.
There's a couple.
Interesting synonym, by the way, for demands the ball, asking for. No, she's put the ball on my feet. Jordan?
Nice. Okay.
I think as a midfielder, I've played at a midfield spot and center back. I want players that if they make a mistake, they're still hustling back and want it again. And you just touched on that. That's what you see all the time with Olivia Smith. I was very upset that she didn't make the Olympic roster. I thought this was a time to. I've been raving about this player for a while. I think she just has something different, and Jess already alluded to it, the fact that she can strike the ball from distance. But outside of that, it's just the way you saw with the goals already, the way that she can cut on the left, cut on the right. She goes out of way that is just so direct, and that's what you need. You need players that are willing to express themselves and say, give me the ball and let me make something happen. Again, I also will partner that with when you're young, you need to curve that a bit and say, okay, work hard, be in the right defensive spot. And I think maybe that's why she's left out of the Olympic team. Maybe she's a bit too green, but this is not the time to leave out stars from this team. Olivia Smith needs to be playing. I'm glad she's getting the start. And watch, she might be a player to come in and really contribute with a goal today.
Yeah, I'll probably play in the next 4 Olympics for Canada the way she's going. We'll step aside when we come back. A look to the opposition nation who Canada will be playing today, the world champions on their home turf. We're not far from the Spanish-Portuguese border, and an Iberian evening, 9:50 p.m. local time. We'll continue to count you down to kick off on this international friendly. It is the Canadian women's national team back in action. We're thrilled to continue counting down to kickoff on Matchday Live.
Canada's women's national team on One Soccer is brought to you by Toyota.
Who's driving?
Felix. Susantia!
Their safety is important, especially when you can't be there. It matters to you. It matters to us.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
This match is brought to you by CIBC, Canada Soccer's lead partner.
At CIBC, we know that nothing feeds ambition like momentum. So no matter what your goals are, from starting a business to sending money back home, a conversation with us about your goals can set everything in motion. And once that ball of possibilities gets rolling, watch out, world.
Oh, Carol! Always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
Canada's opponents today, the World Cup champions and also the holders of the UEFA Nations League. 5 Real Madrid players, 4 Barcelona players, and a pair of gunners in the starting 11 just for Jordan Wilson.
Go on.
5 changes from that bronze medal defeat, and 7 players in this starting 11 that won the World Cup against England in Sydney. This is a heavy-duty team. Jordan Wilson, a couple of players not available. Jenny Hermoso is on the bench, and Bonmati not in the team today, so maybe a bullet dodged for Canada in that sense. But a very interesting group here. And Jess, actually, I want to come to you because you're used to CONCACAF opposition. You played a lot of CONCACAF in your day. Canada plays a lot of CONCACAF all the time. How rare of an opportunity is this for them to test themselves, not just against one of the best in the world, but one of those European teams that, because of the schedules in international football, they don't really often get to see? Yeah,
it's huge. And like I said before, this is the perfect opportunity to perfect your craft. When you're playing opponents where, you're kind of expected to beat them 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times. You prep a little differently, and not to say that you don't go in there with 100%, you do, but it's just a very different opportunity, and I think today is huge for them. It is a measuring stick, and it is something that I think we're going to see a different Canada. I think they have to go out there and they have to really give it their all, and they have to dig deep, especially with everything swirling. So I'm really excited to see how today pans out.
I think this is coming at a perfect time as well. I think with the Olympics, they did something that was profound with the -6 and just to get out of the group.
Yeah.
But then now it's a situation where you're playing a team that's literally tiki-taka football, will knock the ball around and know how to score. So Canada have to be compact. Ball retention has to be key. But they have to go for it and make sure that they're disciplined as well. It's one of those games, too, Jess, you probably played in them more than me, where you're yelling at players, but you might not hear it just because of the event, right, in the stadium. That's what it's going to be like tonight in Spain. So hopefully they can rise to the occasion.
10 p.m. kickoff local time. I'm sure siestas were had by all. What's the latest game you could remember kicking off?
I think 9 p.m. OISL days. Back in the day, you'd play after the kiddos. But yeah, under the lights, Twin Arenas.
Lacey, any late night at Memphis?
No, 9 p.m. was definitely the latest.
OISL?
OISL. OISL. I thought you were about to give me a little...
That?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we're gonna stop with that.
Hey!
We'll work on it for halftime.
Come on, Canada.
We'll be better. Vamos, Canada. They are in action against Spain. When we return, the voice of the Tokyo gold medal calling Nigel Reid with Eva Havaris and Matt Cullen in the broadcast booths for you this afternoon. Canada all-time against Spain. Well, they have only met on 3 previous occasions, most recently at the Arnold Clark Cup. Canada has never beat Spain, a chance to do it on their home turf. We'll see at halftime. Matchday Live, presented by CIBC. CanadaSoccerStore.com is the official home for the widest range of Canada Soccer licensed product, match jerseys, and fan wear.
This is not just laundry. This is laundry that's one and done. This is the ultra-fast combo laundry machine that does both washing and drying cycles, so you can take a load off. This is cleaning large loads in about 2 hours. No more checking, no more forgetting. Profile is revolutionizing laundry, making any room the laundry room. This is GE Profile.
I wanna run back to you. All I wanna do is run back to you and make my dreams come true. The only thing I ever do is run right back to you.
When the stakes are high, only the TELUS 5G network delivers.
Oh, Carol, always the earliest holiday shopper.
It's Holly. Uh-oh.
You know who's gonna win?
Holly.
Carol.
What?
Carol.
No, Holly.
Get out of here.
Allstate and its 900 agents proudly support Canadian soccer at every level. Visit allstate.ca.
Greetings from southwest Spain, where a new era begins for the world champions and the former Olympic gold medalists. Nigel Reid in the booth, alongside former varsity player and coach and Canadian sports executive Eva Havaris, as Canada test themselves against mighty Spain in a friendly international in Almendralejo. Neither nation achieved their goals at the Paris Olympics. The Spaniards surprisingly finished 4th and out of the medals. The Canadians ultimately fell to Germany in the quarterfinals after winning all 3 of their group games. It's the 4th ever meeting between Spain and Canada, and Spain has held sway, most recently back in 2022 when they won in Wolverhampton in England. Indeed, they've never lost to Canada, and it's worth noting, I suppose, at this stage that Canada has never scored against Spain either, but that can all change in the next 90 minutes.
It absolutely can, Nigel. Hopefully it will. I mean, you know, what a great opportunity for this Canadian team to play a world-class team also like Spain. And I have to say, I'm especially looking forward to this because what I saw in the Olympics was they just looked more free as a team. So let's hope that what we see today is a team that is free, that tries some things, and hey, this might be our first win.
Paris 2024 is now in the rear-view mirror. Both teams disappointed for different reasons, but this is a whole new era and a whole new cycle.
Absolutely, and thank goodness for that. Let's say that. I mean, the Canadians are probably saying that as well. You know, I believe the team probably, with everything that they went through, sure, disappointing not to go further. Of course, they would have had a different plan, but everyone in this country knew what they were up against, what they achieved, and so much pride in this team.
As the teams come to center field, Spain in their traditional red jerseys, Canada will play in white tonight. And our referee is Eva Augustine from Poland, as the teams line up and are ready to observe and sing the national anthems.
Escuchemos ahora el himno nacional de España.
We're at the Estadio Francisco de la Era in Almendralejo in southwest Spain. If you draw a line due west, eventually you'll reach Lisbon in southern Portugal. Spain, the world number 3, the reigning world champions, up against Canada, who in the latest world rankings